Hello. A speech or a sentence consists of many words. As the parts of speech are the parts of a sentence, so parts of speech are nothing but words. Each part of a speech or sentence is specifically identified on the basis of its function, its role, and the way it works in a sentence. Parts of speech is the base of grammar and very important for knowing and understanding the other chapters of English grammar also. Parts of speech are divided into 8 parts, where each part plays their own but different role. The parts of speech have different names and they are: number 1, noun; number 2, pronoun; number 3, adjective; number 4, verb; number 5, adverb; number 6, preposition; number 7, conjunction; and number 8, interjection. I will explain to you one by one what role and function these named parts of speech perform. Let us take an example of the sentence, "Oh, John and I played quietly in the empty house." Every word in this sentence here is a part of speech. The part of speech is indicated below every word of the sentence. This is just for your information now, and you will understand all once the parts of speech are explained in this section. Let me just define the parts of speech and make it clear to you with a few examples also. Remember, these are words only, but they have names as per their functions. Number 1, noun. Noun is a word which indicates names of persons, places, things, or animals also. For example, chair, table, New York, book, cup, etc. To find these in sentence examples, number 1, I have a computer. Number 2, they are playing in a garden. Number 3, my father is a decent man. Number 4, I saw an elephant in the zoo. So here in these sentences, we find the word computer in sentence number 1, garden in number 2, father in number 3, and elephant in sentence number 4 are nouns. You can see the nouns are italicized. It will be right to inform you here that the parts of speech, what I am explaining to you here, is basic and fundamental. The deeper study of parts of speech will be made in my next course. I mean to say that there are further classifications of each type of parts of speech. Pronoun. A pronoun is a word used instead of noun to prevent the repetitiveness of the noun. That is, it avoids the repetition of the nouns again and again in the sentence or in a paragraph. A few pronouns are I, we, you, he, she, etc. See how these words are used in sentences. Saroj is a student. She is a pretty girl. I saw a dog there. It ran after the stranger. Boys are happy today. They are singing songs. So you can see how the nouns are replaced with these words. She has been used here instead of Saroj in the first sentence, it instead of dog in the second, and they instead of boys in the sentence number 3. You need to practice to remember all these. Adjective. Now here is another part of speech called adjective. An adjective is a word that describes the quality, quantity or characteristic of the noun or the pronoun. That is describing a person or a thing. Some adjective words are old, hot, white, intelligent, handsome, elegant, etc. A few examples of adjectives in sentences are: number 1, a beautiful girl is dancing in the room. Number 2, she is the first girl in the class. Number 3, Mr. Sam is a good person. Number 4, the soldier is brave. Next is verb, the most important part of speech. A verb is a word or group of words that expresses an action or a state or occurrence, that is, existence. The verb is the most important concept of parts of speech since it is directly linked with the tenses, voice, and speech. Example number 1, actions: go, write, give, come, play, etc. Number 2, states such as feel, know, seem, smell, mind, etc. Remember, state verbs do not have continuous forms. Examples of verbs in sentence you can see here are: he gave me a mobile phone. I saw her in the market. I know your hometown. She likes reading detective stories. You can see the verb words are italicized. The word gave in the first sentence is a verb and past tense of verb give. Next, saw, past tense of see in the second sentence, know in the third, and likes in the last sentence are verbs. An adverb is a word that describes or modifies a verb, or an adjective or an adverb. These are basically words only, but for your easy understanding and remembering, you remember that a word with ly that is added to some verbs to make them adverbs. Example: here, there, near, happily, easily, loudly, etc. For example, Rohan is laughing loudly. He works extremely hard. She is talking nicely. The leopard runs quickly. You see that the main words added with ly and made adverbs. From loud to adverb loudly in sentence number 1. From extreme to adverb extremely in sentence number 2. From nice to adverb nicely in sentence number 3. And from quick to adverb quickly in the last sentence. Next, preposition. A preposition is a word that is used before a noun or a pronoun to connect it to another word. A preposition adds meaning to the sentence by placing it before a noun or a pronoun. You can understand that it indicates the direction and meaning of the whole sentence. Some prepositions are for, of, on, at, in, to, of, by, etc. You need to learn more. You can find application and use of these words in sentences such as: he is looking for papers. Roshan lives in Delhi. Place the book on the table. I'll go there after breakfast. So the words for, in, on, and after are the prepositions. Next, conjunction. Conjunctions words are joining words that join words or sentences. For example, and, but, or, for, so, yet, while, etc. For example, she bought a shirt and a book. We are sad but hopeful. I saw him while I was driving a car. I trust him because he is honest. Here you can see the words and, but, while, and because are the conjunction words used in the sentences. Now, the last but not the least part of speech is interjection. To say about interjection, an interjection is a short sound, a word or a phrase which expresses a speaker's feelings and emotion. A few examples are hurrah, oh, hello, bravo, wow, alas, etc. Applying these interjection words in sentences, for example, are: hurrah, I have won the match. It's joy. Alas, I failed the test. It's a sorrow. Oh, I missed the train. It's a failure. Wow, she is amazing. Surprise. So you can see that the interjection words like hurrah for joy, alas for sorrow, oh for some failure, and wow for surprise are used to express emotion, that is speaker's emotion. Here you can see that all the parts of speech are put together for remembering all at a glance. You can study it on your own and try to remember with some examples. Here is an exercise comprising 20 questions for you to answer. You have to identify the part of speech for the bold words and write it. Write it within the brackets given. Answers are also provided later, but before looking at the answers, please test yourself first. You can check your answers.